Alright, so for our first game we are going second up against Trap Tricks, just pure control Trap Tricks, which is never what you want to see because Trap Tricks is very scary when they get to go first. They're just a lot weaker when they get to go, or when they are forced to go second. But we do have the Droll, which stops them from going too crazy, but they still manage to set up 3 presumably trap holes, which means we have to contest with 3 disruptions. We're hoping that our dual engines can help us pull through this one and just give us enough enough actual action to put on the board, that even though we know 3 things are going to get stopped, we can hopefully put a 4th on the board. So that's what we're going to try here. We use Slime, it gets Gravediggers, and we know that is their last disruption. Unfortunately for them, we have a Reborn, and we still haven't used our normal summon, so we can go into Yummy Way, and they see the writing on the walls and they scoop here. So just a quick first game, just showing you the power of the dual engines. This is a good example of why you would want to play this sort of deck rather than a pure Yummy, because after 3 disruptions, pure Yummy probably would have folded, but we had the Mimighoul engine in there to help out. So without further ado, let's get into some actually really good games coming up here. Game 2, we have an incredible hand, having all of the Yummies right off the bat, but we are up against the brand new Magnificestorming archetype, and they are going first. So if you haven't seen anything on Magnificestorming, they are wind locked and they are based around MST. You see them use one there. Basically they can pop their own quick plays to set them again, so they can turn MST into resources, and they get benefits when MST is used, like their trap allows them to negate with it. Haha, funny meme. But they also have level 3 bodies out the wazoo, so they make a Gossip Shadow here. It's going to be good with goblins and things like that. So we start off with Maker. We managed to give them a dragon. They negate Fiend, so we cannot flip the dragon and simplify the board state, but we can go into Kiki Nagashi, Downerd, Zeus. They use that MST negate on Zeus, so we do not get to wipe the board still, and we have to just play through what they've got. Thankfully, they've already used some resources just staying alive, so we do manage to put some board on the field. It's gonna be a messy game because they do have disruptions. They shuffle our stuff back in so we don't have the field spell, but we can keep going. So we don't break the board, we don't get battle this turn, but we manage to establish a significant board of our own alongside theirs. And so, turn 3, this is all going to come to a head. We basically both have full engine online, which is a rare state to see in a Yu-Gi-Oh game. But Room puts in a ton of work. It flips down their first summon along with another card, and they're working with 2 face-up spaces right now. I don't even know if they have links in here. They probably need to, but they end up feeling like they need to flip their own dragon to clear space. They were smart enough to do it before flipping their other cards, so dragon only blows up face-up cards on the field. They make a Harpy Conductor, and like they still have Crothea, but they, I guess, are out of resources. We're kind of clogged. We don't actually get to do any more disruptions, but they've just played through everything they had available to them, and they know they're going to have to pass to us. And when they pass to us, we can just close the game out pretty easily. So that was actually a very fun match, and I like the Magnificestorming stuff. I think they're very cool. Time will tell if they're actually any good, but, you know. And lastly, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Yummy Mirror match. Our hand sucks, so even though we're going first, we're immediately just going to pass, because we still have Dominus Purge, Imperm, and we can throw Fuelos out. Unfortunately, they have an Ash for the Fuelos, and they actually have combo, but we can Imperm to stop the combo. They set a couple, pass the turn. Okay, well, we draw Mimighoul Maker, that's a starter, so here's hoping it works out. They have Imperm, so we have to just pass again. You know, it's a long and grindy one. Sometimes this is how games go. They go for SP, which triggers Maker to let us flip the dragon, so they banish our Purge, but we get the dragon back. Then we rip the best card in the deck, which is our Yummy Cupsy. it gets interrupted because they seem to be in a similar situation to us where they're just all non-engine and drew very little actual engine. But it's not enough at this point, and we managed to go to some extent and pass the turn with bodies on board. They have no cards. But they rip the single best card in their deck. They're running Pure so they can run Obedience Schooled. We book a Moon 2 materials, but one material is enough to get them started. So now you get to see what happens when both players are on Yummy, firing on all cylinders for an entire turn. So they keep trying to target our stuff, we keep trying to target their stuff. They flip out, we flip out, everybody's doing everything. It's madness, anarchy in the streets out here. So the thing that happens here is we run out of ways to flip out before they do. So they keep a board, and this doesn't look great for us, but we force out their first switch, their first quick sync with the imperm before we start going. That means we're going to have one more quick sync available to us than they will, and that matters a lot in this matchup. So we're kind of sputtering, struggling to get going, but the fact that they just don't have as many things as they need, they use their Book of Moon already. As far as we know, they don't have any more spaces or any disruptions or anything that they can do. So the Mimighoul dungeon is going to get us started, and we're just going to be able to go from here because they are already out of gas. So we do some stuff. We've got the field spell that gives our guys a bunch of attack, and they have the other one that I'm not running, so that gives us a major benefit in battle. So we actually managed to just make Lalipo huge and swing in for the kill. The way that I did this is I destroyed with Giant Mimighoul their field spell and their guy that was in the extra monster zone. That means that they don't have the room to do any flippy shenanigans while I go to battle to swing, because their Snatchy's negated, but you never know what they might have available. It was not a clean one. It was a long one. It was pretty fun to watch, though. Pretty fun to play in, and we just managed to win on the back of Mimighoul Dungeon, doing full Yummy combo, getting us the field spell so that we are bigger than their guys, and there we go. Cool. Cool.